This is California Edition. The roadshow continues throughout the state of California. My name is Brad Pomerance. We are in Gilroy, California today, the garlic capital of the world. We're speaking with Tom Haglund. He is the city manager of Gilroy. We'll speak about garlic. We'll speak about the outlets. We'll speak about the guards. We'll speak about a lot of stuff coming out of Gilroy. You got to Gilroy in 2008 from the Central Valley just in time for the recession.
That's correct.
Perfect timing. How did Gilroy fare during the recession? And I say that with some background, Santa Clara County, southern part of the county, a little bit of ag, kind of near San Jose, but kind of far from San Jose. How'd it go?
It was rough. It was rough going. I arrived on a Monday in May, and by Thursday, I was expecting on Monday a $4.5 million structural deficit that we would have to do some hard work to erase that deficit. By Thursday, it was obvious that the budget in the next year was going to have a $10 million hole in it. So
$10 million out of
$44 million.
That's about 20%.
Right.
That's massive.
It was massive. It was very significant. We rebuilt the budget in 5 weeks, presented a new budget to the city council.
But how do you cut about 20% of your budget in 5 weeks?
We didn't immediately.
Okay.
What we put into play was a 3-year plan to erase the structural deficit. But then, as you know, the economy collapsed in the fall.
Right.
And we were right back in the middle of a $10 to $12 million deficit.
But why were you in deficit pre-collapse? Weren't we kind of still in the halcyon days, the real estate market was doing well, or the signs were already there?
The signs were there. Right. It had been falling off, and so revenue had been falling off as well, and I think consumer confidence had been falling off.
I want to get a sense, though, we are now on the other side of the recession, and I think it's fair to say that Gilroy has bounced back beautifully. Why? You know, whereas some communities are struggling in California, not Gilroy, not Santa Clara County.
So in October of 2009, I went to the city council, said we have a big problem, and these are the things we need to consider doing in order to take care of it. And much to the council's credit, they cut $13 million out of the city's general fund budget to match the $13 million loss of revenue that we had.
But still, you got the city's fiscal house in order. What about just the general community? Why is it that Gilroy generally, I walked through downtown yesterday, clearly there's revitalization going on. I was at the outlets yesterday. I was not the only one there. You know, I mean, something's happening that Gilroy has bounced back and other communities in California taking a little longer to bounce back.
Well, even though we are in close proximity to San Jose, believe it or not, we are a regional center for shopping. And throughout the entire downturn, the Gilroy outlets performed very well. Now they lost a little bit with lagging consumer confidence, but they were a mainstay for the city in terms of producing good sales tax. In terms of the housing market coming back, Gilroy has the most affordable housing in all of Silicon Valley.
That's good to hear, because we know how expensive housing can be.
I've had housing developers tell us that we were at ground zero of the housing comeback in California.
I want to go back to the outlets and get a sense from you how critical they are to the health of the city, to the health of its citizens, to the health of the budget of the city.
They produce several $1 million a year for us in sales tax. Our budget revenues are 44% of our budget revenues come from sales tax.
Is that high compared to your contemporary cities?
Absolutely is high. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's an indicator that you need to expand your economic profile so that you don't put all of your revenue eggs in one basket.
So what do you do? How are you expanding?
We have been working the industrial side of our economic development strategic plan so that we can bring in living wage jobs to our community and create that sort of economic income stream so that we're not solely reliant on sales tax.
But you are fortunately reliant on garlic, if I may say, because who doesn't love garlic? And I want to get a sense from you about the power of the brand of Gilroy garlic. You know, I gotta say that logo of yours was terrific. The way you turned the bottom of the G into a garlic clove, brilliant. But do give us a sense. I mean, I can't think of many communities that are so tied to a crop, I guess you could say.
You know, it has worked for Gilroy for years, but our branding study that we completed in 2009 was a indicator, or the city's indicator, that it wanted to capitalize on a couple things.
Sure.
One is the familiarity of Gilroy garlic, and use that in all of our marketing tools. Everything we do to market the city,
Right.
from our lifeguard uniforms to reaching out to business and industry with collateral materials that help identify garlic. And as I like to say, we punctuate.
Literally.
Literally.
Right.
Someone's first impression of Gilroy. When they arrive here, we have punctuated all those collateral materials, our reliance on Gilroy as the garlic
Right.
capital of the world, with the aroma of garlic.
At the same time, I was recently speaking with Supervisor Mike Wasserman, who represents this area on the Santa Clara Board of Supervisors. And there's another crop, I guess, that you are looking to expand in terms of visibility, notability, and that is grapes. What many people may not realize is that Santa Clara, the Valley, is a wine-producing region.
It is.
And tell us about the wine trails and how Gilroy is taking an active role in developing the wine trails.
So Gilroy has about 22 wineries in very close proximity to the city, and we have worked very hard with the wine industry, local wine industry, to promote that. We worked very hard through our Gilroy Welcome Center, which is funded by the city of Gilroy, to promote at a county level a wine trail.
I went there.
And so,
I went there yesterday.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so we now have markers along the roadway, much as you'd see for a scenic bypass or a
Right.
scenic route, that it's the Santa Clara Valley Wine Trail.
So how do you make sure that you work to grow that brand, but not dilute the garlic brand? Although in a lot of ways,
the two come
right. They come together
They come
nicely.
together
Their
nicely.
food, I can imagine a steak with garlic on it with my red wine next to me.
That's
and
right.
So it all kind of works together.
That's right. We promote it with a wine stroll through downtown to emphasize our investment, $10 million investment in our downtown. And a lot of other aspects to the community activities that we have going on. The Garlic Festival is another great.
Forget it. I mean, who doesn't know about it? I mean, the Garlic Festival's huge.
100,000 people a year come to Gilroy
And
for the
how do you
Garlic
manage
Festival.
that? Honest.
This is a city of volunteers. If our tagline were not community with a spice for life,
Right.
playing off garlic, the alternate tagline should be community of volunteers. 4,000 community volunteers put on the Garlic Festival. That's how we manage it.
What does the Garlic Festival do for this community? How important is it to this community?
It's extremely important because the Garlic Festival is run by the nonprofit Gilroy Garlic Festival Association. And they have a core group of volunteers that organize that event. And the 4,000 volunteers that work the event
Right.
are all earning money for their local charity. And the Garlic Festival Association distributes that money back to the local charities.
Where does Gilroy go from here? Obviously, you're on a roll, you're doing something right, but what next?
I think that what you're going to see is an incredible expansion in our residential development, an incredible expansion of our industrial development. Managed with target industries that the city wants to have come in and contribute to the expansion of our economic profile. And I think it's going to be, Gilroy is uniquely positioned, I should say, as an access point to the Central Coast, an access point to the Bay Area,
tough life
an
for
access
you.
point
His
to
name is
the
Tom
Central Valley.
Haglund. He is the city manager for Gilroy. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're on a roadshow in Gilroy, California. This is California Edition.